let's talk first about positive corner fed. And a positive corner fed, for example, if I'm approaching from here, at some point during my slice, I will see that there is a wall over there. From here, I know that there is a corner fed. Furthermore, I know where is the highest probability for me to encounter someone. Not only this, and that probably you will see force, if I will fight someone, it will be easier for me instinctively to understand that as soon as there will be an engagement, any person in the room will probably go in that direction. So it's easier for you to orient around the situation as it unfolds, but that later you will see in force. How do we clear it? Pretty simple. If I'm coming here from an narrow angle, again, I will do a short stop for orientation check. By now, I'm able to slice up to 80% of the room, meaning the only place which has the highest probability for sure to have a threat will be over there. All right, guys, before we go into the corner fed and center fed and we make a clear definition between the two, I just want to clarify what do I refer to as an entry point. In reality, we have three types of possible ways of entering a room: through a door, through a window, or through any kind of improvisation, such as a wall charge, making a hole in the wall with a hammer or whatsoever, okay? What's common to these three types of entry angles is in which angle in relation to the corners of the room am I entering the room or the structure. So for example, if you look on the picture to the left, I have a corner fed, while to the picture on the right, I have a center fed. In a corner fed, I have one less corner to worry about, while in the center fed, I have two corners which I have to worry about, okay? It's really important to clarify because often people ask it. It still looks like a corner, so how come that this is not a center fed? Well, in our system, we define it in the following way. If the corner here, for whatever reason, is shallow, meaning under 2 meters, I will refer to it as a corner fed because normally I will be able to see that area from outside. Even if I will have a door a little bit against the wall, in terms of heavy side versus light side, here I am to expect much more movement of threat in comparison to that area which is more isolated, okay? Priorities, 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 but we will get back to that. Okay, so we talked about different types of room shapes. We talked about center fed, corner fed, and different ways of doing things. Let's go back a little bit into room clearing in a capacity of one man, and this time let's focus on corner feds, okay? So as you remember, we have two types of corner feds, right? What are those? Negative and positive, right? In few words, what is a negative corner fed?
Negative corner fed is that I see the wall first when I'm almost in the room. So then I see the wall. That's
after
like
the 90.
After 90 degrees, yes. If I go to 150 actually.
Very good. What is the biggest danger in negative corner fed?
I expose myself a lot into the room till the moment I recognize that it's a negative corner fed.
Exactly, so I'm wasting my energy on something that doesn't exist, a corner, right? Good. What is a positive corner fed? Or you know what? How do I identify a positive corner fed?
When I'm at the narrow or at least 45 and see already the wall.
Right. We can recognize that there is a wall in front of me, meaning there is no corner or perhaps a very thin corner, and that the majority of the room goes in a very certain direction, which means a corner fed, right? Good. What is the human factor here? Why is it positive? What is really positive in this case? Like,
I realize that at the moment I'm at the open door. Like the thing is, the door's open and I come to the door and I see the wall. So I know what happens and where's the main
heavy area of the room, right? Very good, which means higher competence level. Okay, you're able to visualize in your head based on information coming from the room, like hearing things, where his additional humans are in this room and so on and so on, okay? Let's go through it. Since you know already the body positioning and everything, I don't think there is a need to make it to talk about it too much. Instead, we will just demonstrate a couple of stuff and then we will just practice it, okay? Let's go. Okay, let's talk really quick about the corner fed. First of all, it's important to understand that when it comes down to corner fed, we have two categories of corner feds, okay? These categories are perspective driven. Or in other words, from which direction of the door am I approaching the room right now? So when I was in the military, at some point I realized that technically the corner feds are split into two categories. Either a positive corner fed or a negative corner fed. In a positive corner fed, I will be approaching from the right side of the entry point. Let's say right now that I open the door or the door is already open. The reason why we call it a positive corner fed is because from the initial moment of exposure into the room, which is around a narrow angle of 45 degrees, I will be able to see a wall. That wall will be an indication for me that I am dealing with a corner fed. The reason why we call it a positive corner fed is because right here, I'm still not committed to this room, I'm still not exposed to this room, but I already know what kind of a room am I dealing with. Even if there is going to be a door here, it doesn't matter. Right now, I know what is the heavier side of the room and where should my priority go to, which is the right side. And a positive corner fed, for example, if I'm approaching from here and I'm coming, let's say, from the narrow angle, at some point during my slice, I will see that there is a wall over there, correct? From here, I know that there is a corner fed. Furthermore, I know where is the highest probability for me to encounter someone. Not only this, and that probably you will see in Force and Force, if I will fight someone, it will be easier for me instinctively to understand that as soon as there will be an engagement, any person in the room will probably go in that direction. So it's easier for you to orient around the situation as it unfolds, but that later you will see in Force and Force. How do we clear it? Pretty simple. If I'm coming here from the narrow angle, again, I will do a short stop for orientation check. What am I doing, by the way, in orientation check? Breathing, calming down, shoulder check, is everything okay? Looking to the door, maybe wires, traps whatsoever, shadows, blood stains. And in addition, I'm listening. Maybe my target was actually over there. Maybe the hostage taker is over there. Maybe I hear 3 people inside, so on and so on. Makes sense? Good, let's continue. Okay, from here I decided I want to take a room and let's work with it. If you will recognize during the entire slice, which is the same as the center fed, I'm pretty much protected from that flank over there. Make sense? Good. By now, I'm able to slice up to 80% of the room, meaning the only place which has the highest probability for sure to have a threat will be over there. Make sense until now? Good. Okay, in a positive corner fed, the majority of the work around the entry point is relatively safe. If you can see also, the slice is relatively staying close to the apex over here, which means during the entire process, not only that I know into which general direction the threat might be located, but also I have the possibility to simply step off. In addition, I don't have any kind of a problem to the left normally, and even if I have a door, I'm relatively safe because the angle will not allow a direct exposure. Okay? All right, so you have seen this tactic from the outside perspective. Now you will see it from the inside. Each one of you is located in another angle, which is perfect, so you can have the impression of the threat or any person who would be in the room, okay? So I will demonstrate it one more time, and when I'm finished to demonstrate, I'll ask you a very simple question, and I would like to have an honest answer. Make sense? Good. Okay. Did I forget something? Did I finish clearing the room or that door? All right. Let's talk about it real quick. So one of the problems we have is that around this area, when people are seeing doors like this, they get a little bit confused. What they will do is the following: they will jump around the corner, they will get that corner, and immediately they will turn around it. They will throw themselves into a really quick phase of clearing. There are a few problems with that, and I would like to address how we can be more efficient here. And why do I address this rather than this? Because it does conflict a little bit with what we talked previously, right? The near to far problems, correct? Good. You will be with me here. Number 2. First issue that we have with all of this jumping around is that if I will teach you to jump around the corner and automatically to turn around, probably in reality it will conflict a little bit without things happen, right? Because you need to identify, you need to see, probably you can't see the corner pretty well. Correct? Makes sense? So this is more important. With all due respect, that's second priority. We'll get back to that. Second issue that we have training-wise, and we saw it in Force and Force very often, is the following. You'll see guys coming from here, attacking it, and immediately turning around doing this movement. Now, as they do this movement, slowly they're starting to position themselves against the second partner who comes out, or perhaps additional members in the corridor. What is the problem here? The confliction. If there will be a threat here, do you really think that you will shoot in that direction? No, you will defend yourself, correct? You'll start shooting. Does the threat stays in the same time? No, he will move. Every human being is moving, he's fighting for his life, correct? And what we look into is the possibility of someone jumping around the door to clear it, and a second later shooting towards his friend behind the door or the wall. Make sense? So let's make it more efficient. Thank you very much. From the moment I'm coming from here, I will take that corner. I see it, I see the connection of the two walls, everything is fine. I will check around me. If I have a door like this and I feel super threatened by it whatsoever, instead of standing here, what I can do is the following: be here. You see it? That's all. Clear it and come back here again. That's it. I'm outside. From here, the angles are so thin that if someone is standing there, I can see half of his body already. You see it? Makes sense? Good. Next point. Question. Why I am prioritizing as a threat this area rather than this area? Because, you know, people get freaked out from this. Yeah, but there is a corner here and, you know, it can kill you. Why this and not this first, and so on?
Because he's actually hiding.
Very good.
And if
what else?
He hides himself, he's not those aggressive attacker as we might think if he's in the room.
Very limited space.
How can I shoot from here like this? I mean, seriously. Second, if I want to hit someone, I need to see him first, unless I really know exactly where he is. Make sense? Very good. What else? You wanted to say something?
Was the same. Working at that corner, you have nearly no space, especially second guy or first guy is pushing the door to the corner, and you have no more space.
Very good. Next point. If someone is going to be behind it and he's hiding, and he will try to open that door against me, then I know. Furthermore, you will feel it. Any movement against you. Okay? So here comes the next question. Who is more freedom of movement tactically? A person who will be hiding here or a person who is hiding here? Therefore, I want to hit it first. We have a very simple priority list. Threat, civilian, open spaces, open doors, closed doors. That's how I prioritize my problem, with near to far, of course. Make sense? So therefore, prioritizing this and only then this. Here is the truth. If someone is really waiting for you, like in all of these games and stuff that you see, then yes, he will be able to shoot you, but that is reality. At some point, you can't be 100% safe. But here, at least we are prioritizing where is the highest chance for a threat to work on me. Are there any questions? Anything?
Yeah, how to work it out properly.
So how to do it properly?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, as you talk too fast will cause me to rotate in my position and perhaps hit my friends, correct? Good. Can you give me some context? Some kind of something to orient myself around? There is here a threat who wants to shoot me. What? Did I heard something?
Yeah, maybe. I just want to secure it, but in this way that I don't endanger my teammate.
Okay.
So that I don't have to point the gun in his direction.
Let's start with a suspicion. Okay, I have no idea if there is someone there, and I will not bullshit you. I don't have this space here. I have no idea what is behind the door. Okay, makes sense? Good. During my slice, at some point around this area here, I am hearing movement over there. It can be an animal, it can be a human being, that I don't know, but there is a movement there. Right here, right now, the majority of this room is not a problem for me. You know what? Let's say that I even clear until here. I will do a quick pick, clear. What I will do now is the following. I will switch this apex with this apex. Just like I work with this area, I will now work with this area and I will start slicing around it. The only thing that it's really important to understand here is this. If you work alone, you might want to do it a little bit faster. Why? Because this is a concealment and this area is starting to boil up because the person knows you are coming. Okay? 2, I don't want to see people taking the door with them. You know, like people often do, they take it like this and they take the door again like this. Why? Because first, you will have stuff like this, and second, you will have stuff like this, and third, if there will be a big guy like you behind it, and you will push that door, or you will try to escape, I will fall backwards. So what I want to do is, again, the same principle of room slicing, to shift the apex from here to here and start walking around it. You see it? I'll do it a little bit faster and suck. Make sense? That's all. And gain a little bit of distance from it. This is important. Let's talk about a situation when I have a partner with me, just to demonstrate it really quick, okay? You will be with me again. Remember, we talked about a situation where I could aim against them, remember? So what I will do is the following, and this is really the beauty about these tactics, because it allows you to react in the right time and in the right moment for any kind of a complication in the room, right? So he will be with me shoulder to shoulder. Let's say that you're covering over there, right? Good. Okay, tack, I took that corner, everything is fine. Then I'm recognizing that problem and I'm orienting. You see my body position? Do you see? It doesn't even know that. He just did it automatically. You see this area free? Now, instead of me just running and turning around, because you see what is the problem, I will tell to him, I will give him this very simple order. Come back. With me. As soon as I say the with me, he's with me. He's stuck to me like glue. With me. Okay, really important pressure, and he's all the time with me. He's all the time with me and all the time with me. It needs to be trained, of course. It has to be a little bit faster, okay? Therefore, just to make sure that no one understood it wrong, let's do it together really quick. Oh, with me, with me. He said that there is no chance. Of course, he should not hug me too much. We need the bailing distance. Again, that's the next topic, but this is just to show you what we can do. The only thing I'm asking you not to do is not to get used into the, like this running around door. It's dangerous, okay? Positive corner fed, let's summarize it very quick. I'm coming from outside. The first thing I can see will be the wall over here. No one can see me, correct? But this is what I'm controlling. The more I'm slicing, the more I'm confident because I know exactly what kind of room I have. And as you can see, no one can see me coming until it's too late for him, okay? The majority of the room until here, which you can see the corner there very well, is secured from outside. The only thing I have to do is to attack it. Make sense? Perfect. Let's talk about negative corner fed really quick, how we can do it, and then we will just practice, okay? Negative corner fed. Question, from this angle, does it look like a corner fed? Doesn't. Will you agree with me right now that it's relatively too late until the operator realizes that it's a corner fed? Yeah? Okay. I will continue the video. So the operator is approaching the room, he is slicing, he is shooting, and around this point, probably you recognize he was freezing. This is a typical situation in a corner fed, which we refer to as a negative corner fed. In this situation, the operator will slice the room, he will see a very open, empty space, he will think that there is an opposite corner coming ahead, but at some point around the 90 degrees to a little bit beyond, he will recognize that there is a wall. When he will recognize there is a wall, well, his job is done, right? There is nothing to clear there. The only problem is that he is exposed to the rest of the room deep inside, okay? And this is what we refer to as a negative corner fed. Now that you have seen the video and you have a figure in mind, I want to break it down. In negative corner fed, I'm going to approach from the left side of this corner fed. Let's say that you open a door for me, whatever, door is open, or maybe I can see a little bit into the room, but what I can see is quite of a depth, right? I see an empty corner, I can't clear it, I have to continue to slice the room or enter or whatever. During my work around the entry point, it will take me quite a lot of time until I will realize that the area which I'm primarily going to clear actually is not of a big priority for me. Instead, the opposite area is the area which has the highest likelihood to have what? A threat, correct? Good. Now what's going to happen typically is that slightly beyond the 90 degrees, most individuals, if we are honest, most individuals will see this wall. By the time they will see this wall, the limbs, their legs, their knees, their shoulders will be exposed to this angle over here, okay? And in force and force, this is a situation that's very problematic because this is where we see people getting their hands shot all the way from that corner. And that is primarily why we call it a negative corner fed. Now here comes another interesting thing that we saw in force and force, which was really problematic. And it's the following. Ironically, your exposure to the corner, which is a place where people who would try to ambush you or hide will wait at, they will have the ability to already hit you as soon as you enter the narrow angle. Light it up. Right now I'm in a narrow angle. I can see into the room, I can see an angle. But as you can see, my legs are already exposed. Actually, really important parts of my body are exposed. Things that can kill me really fast. What do I have here inside? Femoral. How long does it take me to get, basically to die from it? If I get it like cut it?
Yeah, 1 minute, maybe 2.
All right, think about it. So here's the thing, look now at my body. My eyes looking forward. I shifted my legs just like I learned. The only problem is that my eyes obviously are not in one line with my leg normally. So what's gonna happen here is that often guys can't see properly, but the threat who is waiting is able already to score shots on them. This is very dangerous, therefore I want you to keep it in mind, okay? Good. Kill it? Okay, from here, the next issue is the following. I will slice, I will slice, I will slice. I will think that's, you know, it's a center fed, whatever. I will slice, and if we are honest, only around, let's say, past the 90 degrees, whatever, I will recognize that, well, maybe there is a small corner here, but this has the higher probability for a threat, right? So what's gonna happen that around this area, that arms, put the light on, that arms are gonna be already exposed, okay? But I can't see what there is over there. Even if my weapon will be lower, still, my wrist will be exposed to the next angle, okay? And by the time that I'm able to see that, oh shit, it's there, it might be too late. Why it will be too late? Because of the following reason. If a number 2 will be standing right here, he will be literally in the center of the light. If a number 3 will be standing here because number 2 covering over there, it's the same effect. So the team can get really hit from that. In force and force, if it's done not in the right way, we see number 2 and 3 getting hit because the number 1 triggers the fire and everything that comes from there is going in that direction, okay? So just think about it. So what is the principle here? Very simple. Extremely simple. It's only one principle. Shift the hips. If I recognize this is not relevant for me anymore, I will shift this apex with an apex which is relevant to me. Which one? Here. Question, should I do it in one movement or should I just switch and continue slicing from here? What do you think? Very good. Always thinking. One thing I really don't like, the same with key sections and so on, is when people are jumping all the way. Because I just now consumed so many angles, so many possibilities of humans that I might need to identify without being able to identify because we can't control while being in movement. We can't. Make sense? Good. So as soon as you recognize that this area is not really relevant for me because it's a negative corner fed and this is where the responsibility should go, you change your feet in a position and from here you continue to slice until you hit that corner. Make sense? I know how it is. Here or in a classroom, it sounds like, yeah, and yeah, makes sense. But later, when you put guys in this room with this airsoft guns or FX, whatever, and it hurts, and no one want to get hit, this is where you see this stuff. Okay, people are hesitant. People are like, oh fuck, from where did it came? Stuff like that. Okay. Now I brought for you another visual explanation. And I will play the next video which shows a really good example. And afterwards I will ask you to describe for me where did you recognize it negative corner fed, and that way I will be able to understand that you understood this concept, okay? Negative or positive corner fed? Negative. All right, here is why it's negative. Again, from the moment the door is open, doesn't matter if dynamic or slice methods, at this point, no one of the operator is able to tell whether there is a corner here or not. And what they will do normally, and doesn't matter if they will do crisscross or button hook, they will give attention to that area. Now, when I'm gonna press the play, I want you to pay attention to the first guy. Wasted resources. That's the major issue we have with negative corner fed past the issue of injuries. Normally, the number 1 will go into the room, he will put his back to the area of danger, and he will waste time and effort on putting the gun against the wall. Fun fact, the moment when I realized the whole story about positive and negative corner feds was when I crashed against a closet, okay? I went into the room, I thought there was a corner, and I just ran with my head against the wall. You can tell how much concentration you have here. Door gets opened, there is a freeze, they're waiting for the flashbang. You can see how much angle goes here into the room. And from that moment they decide to move in. They have no idea what comes next. By the way, fun fact, dynamic entries around this area will push the operator to shoot in that direction in case there will be someone behind the door as it's not controlled, which again, deconfliction, but that was just an extra piece of information. But in the end of the day, you can see how it looks like, and this is something that actually exists. All right, how do you identify positive corner fed? What it is in a few words?
I come in this picture from the right side and see the wall.
Are you coming from here in a positive corner fed?
No.
Oh, okay. You're coming from here, right? How can you tell it's a positive corner fed?
I see the wall.
You will see the wall, correct? If you're opening a door or whatever. It means the priority goes there. Of course, if something is going to happen behind the door, we change priorities, but that's big boy rule. We'll talk about it tomorrow. In a negative corner fed, I will come from here, of course. What is the problem here? Why it's a negative corner fed, basically?
I can't see the corner.
Well, you can't say it. You can't say it. So you will think there is something there. You will shift the priority into this direction, but you will be exposed to the deeper angles. Very good. I want just to put one more important remark regarding the positive corner fed, which is really important to understand. Here is a really interesting thing about human behavior. Even if I do something wrong, meaning my training is completely, well, shit, but I feel competent, I can facilitate stress better. Which means if I'm standing outside of the room and I have no idea where is the threat, but at this point I can already tell that this is a corner fed room, or I can orient myself with what kind of a room is waiting for me inside, I can be more competent. And when I'm more competent, I can do what? Facilitate stress better, okay? So just keep it in mind. Okay, corner fed is clear for everybody. Let's talk really quick about center fed. Honestly, there is not too much to talk about it, but I'm entering relatively in a center of the structure or the room. Long story short, I have two empty spaces which we refer to as hard corners, meaning I have to get through the entry point in order to see them. They are equally on the same angle, okay? And yeah, basically center fed, okay? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We don't need to go too much into it, so we can continue to the next topic. So I will approach it in our angle. I will stop just like we always learn. By the way, I'm on my weaker side, right? So if you have time and you have a local surprise, here is the time to do a shoulder transition. Make sense? Only if you have the time. If you expect any person to come out, well, you should not do it. Make sense? Okay, from here I'm starting to slice. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. I'm slicing. All good. And oh shit, I see a wall. Where's the responsibility shift to? To this area, right? Okay, so from here I will shift, slice it if needed. I will attack it, look over shoulder, and then I can start working on the next problem, and so on and so on. I'll just do a demonstration without talking, and we're good to go, okay? So, I think it was pretty clear, right? Does it make sense to you, the separation between positive and negative? Okay. For you, this is like another thing you can recognize on the go and adjust to it. Because here there is not too much thinking. It's just like driving on the highway, right? You see something in front of you, you know what it means, and you react to it. For example, if a car is getting too close to you, you know automatically that you need to get a distance. If it's too fast, you know that you have to change a lane, so on and so on. Same effect here. I'm coming from there, I know I see the wall, automatically in my head, I know what kind of a tactic I'm going to apply here, which later we will discuss. So again, we are eliminating this, how should I do it? I can do this and I can do that, and we have to communicate. No, it's too much, right? We have to keep stuff simple. Good. Are there any questions?
Yeah. When you're at the 90 and realize, for example, now you have a negative corner fed, and somehow suddenly someone comes out of this corner, in which direction of the apexes you would go? To this one or this one?
Okay, you mean if someone, like I'm right here, and right now someone came from there, you will ask me which one I will go. Okay, very good question. The question is, how intense would be this new stimulus? So for example, if it would be like a loud explosion and some, I don't know, one gunshot, whatever, probably we will look into something like this, going away completely, okay? What I like to teach guys is the following. If you're already here, try automatically to catch them from here. This requires a little bit of training. Why? Because if you will go from here and you will bail back here, first of all, your cover, you don't have really concealment here. Second, for the way it works, for the eyes to orient around your cover, this will be much more easier because it's just one texture versus two. You see? The more lines I have, the more complexity I have. Make sense? Good. So it will look like this. I see something coming out. I will just react to it here very quick, and that's all. Make sense? Good. Are there any other questions? Anything? Good. How was, like, you know, how was this module for you? I mean, you're coming from different backgrounds in the end and so on and so on. How was, like, you know, this tactic, this way of building up the capability?
Really new until now, I had no concept.
Okay.
Or concept.
Okay. How was it for you?
It's actually pretty easy to accomplish.
Yeah.
And to understand. And it's probably also pretty stress resistant. And I'm excited about how it works on force and force.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's great because there's no big difference between one-man clearance and two-man clearance. It's very simple to edit another guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
All the tactics, like you explained before, are very behavior compliant. So I know that the tactics are working also with my human instincts and also my human reflexes, maybe if I have to go away at first. So I can link up from there and not have to overcome all this.
Okay, here is a little bit, you know, we talked now about some stuff and you mentioned human behavior. So, you know, you said like, it's really simple, right? It's really easy to do, and you mentioned human behavior. So I just want to give you really quick background information why we're actually doing it so simple in the end. Why we, you know, we avoid all these end signs and saying stuff like, you do this and you can do this and that, and we go in, yeah, we go in and shit like this. There was a research regarding the performance of F1 drivers, you know, Formula 1, right? You all know that. And it was found out that despite the fact that they know the track of the drive and, you know, and all this information, still during the drive for the majority of the time of the competition, their heart rate value was very high. We're talking about something from 160 beats per minute all the way to 180, constantly, almost constantly. And the question was made, how they can perform with such a high heart rate value over such a prolonged time and still drive very good. I mean, you know, they still need to be able to drive, right? There is technique into it, right? The answer is very simple. When they drive, they have just few things they have to do. Speed up, slow down, left and right. That's it, from decision-making point of view. The same happens here. I have the apex, I have my legs, I have my eyes, I have my gun, and I have the consistency in movement, this. The only thing that you do by default is this, nothing else. No special movements like this and going down and going here and taking a little bit backwards and stuff like this. No, it's just everything is the same, very simple. And therefore we said we start with 1 man, 2 man, 3 man, 4 man, and in the end the capability repeats itself across different contexts, capacities, and so on and so on, okay? CQB, especially CQB, because of the distance to the threat and how things happen, has a lot to do with human behavior, especially when we look into it through the desired performance level that we would like to see with the fighters, okay? Good. So just think about it, all right?